And so we're going to get into game number 2 here of the King of Kong's Arena of Legends Tournament Finals. Up in the top right, we have the guy who played better last game but still lost. It is Incredible Miracles LosirA. Well, I shouldn't say he played better, I just mean that he got a very early advantage. And down here in the bottom left is from the team MVP, DongRaeGu. Now, by the way, these guys are both very good at Zerg versus Zerg, but of course one is better than the other. LosirA has a 60% win rate, 61 I guess. He's played some very good players in the past. He's played a lot of Zerg versus Zerg games. Of course, winning versus July Zerg just previous to this. You know, he's beaten Czech Prime, Kirix, Juke2, but he hasn't really beaten anyone too good at ZVZ lately. I mean, July Zerg is, we'll hold that thought. We do have DongRaeGu going in rank for a very quick pool, actually. Didn't catch when that was. It might have been a 10 pool or a 9 pool. Oh, double extractor trick. Getting 2 more drones out of it. 12 out of 10 drones available to him. He appears to be going for a bit of an aggressive strategy here. We do have gas on 14 and pool on 14 for LosirA. A very safe build that's probably going to be fine against this rush build. He's probably hoping that LosirA would expand very quickly here on Cloud Kingdom. Anyway, point being though, just to go back real quick, LosirA, he's got a good win rate versus Zerg, but he hasn't played any top tier Zergs. In fact, well, he has played them, but he's lost to Nestea several times, and of course, very famously, the GSL Codas July finals where he got 4-0'd by Nestea, which is why he's in this tournament. Now, on the other hand, we do have DongRaeGu. Just to throw this at you guys, he is actually 7-1. Actually, now he's 8-1 in tournament games in ZVZ. His ZVZ is very good. Oh, he's going for the rush. He's put a spine crawler. The Overlord is going to see it, though, so he knows exactly what's up now. He knows that there's a pool in play. He knows Zerglings are on the way. He's having to pull drones to kill off this spine crawler, and if that spine crawler finishes, that is horrible. So that's why he's pulling all of these drones to kill it before the Zerglings arrive. Forces a cancel on that. He's going to try and run that drone around a little bit so he can plant it down later once the Zerglings arrive. But yeah, so DongRaeGu, he's going for a bit of a rush here, and we saw actually, hold that thought anyway, Zerglings coming in. Zerglings are out now for LosirA, so DongRaeGu doesn't look like he's going to accomplish much with this rush. He tried to get this rush going, but the 14 gas pool, if you micro your drones, is able to counter even a 6 pool sometimes. So going for this like 9 or 10 pool, I think it was a 9 pool actually, because this looks like that 9 pool drone rush sort of thing. Anyway, here he goes. He's pulling his SCVs, pulling his Zerglings back out of the base, and DongRaeGu's rush has been completely thwarted. He actually sent his drone back home, and look at this Baneling nest going down for LosirA. Very smart move, because basically right now the only way that DongRaeGu can actually make this work is if he were to get Banelings. So LosirA's like, alright, well, I'm going to need my own Banelings. I don't have time to get roaches out. I don't have the gas for it. I need to get some Banelings of my own so I can stop any kind of huge attack that comes out from DongRaeGu. So in the meantime, though, both players just getting their speed upgrade going. Of course, LosirA's is actually finishing way ahead because DongRaeGu hadn't gotten gas. He just committed basically those early Zerglings, whereas LosirA had gotten gas early. Anyway, yeah, so we're kind of going to an evening point here where LosirA is going to have the advantage in the economy. And of course, last game we saw the same thing, and LosirA just didn't make any units though and threw it away. Now here's the other thing is also he knows that DongRaeGu only has Zerglings, so he can also do a counterattack now that he's secured his safety. If he sends Banelings up that ramp, he's got a single Baneling there, and that might be enough to turn the tide. He sees that there's Queens on the ramp, so he's going to attack the Queens with the Zerglings. Oh, and he targets down the Baneling with the Queens. Beautiful move by DongRaeGu. That was actually really cool. He was sending the Baneling in there, having it nearby, so that if he tried to engage with Zerglings, or if he killed one of the Queens, the Baneling could go in there and kill untold amounts of Zerglings and basically win the game for him there. But DongRaeGu very, very intelligently went ahead and... Oh, is he going to try and pop those 3 Banes with 1 Bane? Oh, where is he going with your Banelings? DongRaeGu, what are you doing? Okay, there we go. Now he's attacking that Baneling with a single Baneling. If he had just manually detonated, if LosirA had manually detonated that Baneling on DongRaeGu's Banelings, that would have been huge. He could have taken out all 3 of them. I guess he wanted the Zergling's blood instead and was a little bit too greedy for that. So both players pretty much kind of stabilizing here in about the same tech position. Both players getting expansions, but LosirA's expansion is ahead and his drone count is ahead. So, however, he might have to cancel this hatchery. Oh! He does cancel the hatchery. Nice Baneling hit, though. Took out a good amount of those Zerglings, and that is going to make it so that he's forced back. And now, suddenly, DongRaeGu's expansion is ahead instead. Anyway, he's pushing in here with his single Baneling. He's going to try and pop. He's going to trade Banelings for Banelings, I guess. 2 for 2. Tit for tat, as it were. Not too bad of a way of doing it. Anyway, so yes, we do have, sorry about that, a Roach Warren going up for both players, so it looks like we are going to shift into a longer game. By the way, just to go back here to DongRaeGu about his Zerg versus Zerg play. This is in GSL games at least. He's in 4th place in ZVZs and other tournaments, but I'm looking at his Korean games. He's actually 7-1. The only game he lost was to Stefano, actually, in the Blizzard Cup. It's the only game he's lost in ZVZ in Korean tournament games. But he's beaten LosirA before, actually, in the GSTL. He's beaten July Zerg as well, just recently. In the King of Kong's tournament. Of course, July Zerg beat the other games in his group, and so he was able to advance. Only to be defeated by LosirA again. Zerglings running across the map here for DongRaeGu, and oh, those Banelings are poised to do some damage. Oh, he's trying to take out Knight. Does take out the one Baneling with the one Zergling. That is exactly what you want to do. And oh, well, that was stop the scout actually. That actually was a little bit worth it. That usually you don't want to trade one Baneling for only 2 Zerglings. Oh wow, that was nice. Again, keeps trading one Zergling for one Baneling. That's exactly what you want to do to get rid of your opponent's Banelings. It's a perfect move to do. Anyway, but stopping that scout from getting him was actually a really big deal because right now, DRG, well, neither player really has too much information on the other right now, but that means that LosirA has a lot better scouting. I'm sorry, it was a lot less scouting than he would have if he'd gotten in there. So he doesn't know that the roaches are on the way. He doesn't know that there's a bunch of roaches at the top of the ramp. He doesn't know that there's an Evo chamber researching +1 attack right now. He doesn't know that they're both about even, actually. They're both about even in the roaches and in the upgrades, are almost even in their timing. So, very interesting. I thought I saw, I'm going to try and check to see if, well, anyway, I thought I saw someone researching Lair earlier, but I could be wrong about that. If they were, actually, they would probably be getting roach speed, so we would know it. Harvester count 42 to 39. Things have evened up almost in that as well, so we have definitely an even game here. It is going to turn into a crazy macro game. Neither player has the advantage at this point. LosirA and DongRaeGu each kind of trading back and forth as far as advantages and things evening up now. And now DongRaeGu chooses to show his roaches. He is moving down his ramp. He is going for an attack. You can tell because he's making Zerglings. He thinks he's going for a +1 attack, +1 weapons timing attack here, moving out so he can engage with that +1. But little does he know that LosirA actually has that +1 already, but he's making lots of Zerglings, and that's how you know he's attacking, because the Zerglings are faster than the roaches and can catch up to the fight so they can engage in battle along with the rest of the forces. Is he going to go up that ramp? Oh, he's going to catch him on the ramp. No, he doesn't. He doesn't choose to have a concave on the ramp. Instead, he chooses to fight on this spine crawler. Both about even in roaches, but DongRaeGu has a few extra roaches right now. No, but LosirA actually has more roaches coming in, so he does have the advantage there. The Zerglings are not fighting either, and DongRaeGu is pushed back. LosirA, I mean, basically, it came down to the fact that they had exactly the same thing, and LosirA had a closer rally. That's what it came down to. So DongRaeGu pushed back to his base. He's having to morph some Banelings so that he could desperately try and attempt to defend this. And I don't think it's going to work, though. That Baneling's going to die. Oh, doesn't able to get up that ramp. And yeah, LosirA just goes ahead and takes the third as well. He He's going to hold that ramp. That ramp is really crucial right now. It's going to enable DongRaeGu to do a lot more damage if LosirA tries to push up the ramp. And so here's we have the situation where if you have the superior force, but you can't actually attack, you want to expand again and get the economic advantage. And that is kind of what Zerg does against other races a lot anyway. So that's what we have LosirA doing right now. Because he can't break up that ramp very easily. He might be able to break up that ramp, but it'd be risky, and you don't want to take a risk. So we do have a lair up. Okay, I was right about that. DongRaeGu does have a lair. Oh, forced to cancel that third base that he was trying to get up. LosirA, interestingly, has fallen back to his main base, just deciding to macro up his third instead of trying to get more forces on the map. And he's up to 56 drones now. He's getting a macro hatchery. No, yes, he is getting a macro hatchery in addition to that third base. So he is going to have so much production. This reminds me a lot of Game 4 between LosirA and LosirA yesterday, where LosirA just got a little bit of an econ advantage and just went to town with it. Although, hopefully it doesn't end up like the last game where LosirA had an econ advantage and went to town with it, and DongRaeGu ransacked his town because his town didn't have any law enforcement, I guess. Didn't have any units out to actually defend his town. Overseer coming in here is going to spot the lair, going to spot the macro hatch. Burrow being upgraded there. So he also, that's the crucial thing though, is he scouted all around and he didn't see a spire or an infestation pit. So he knows that there is no fear of that. Well, he suspects there's no fear of that. He doesn't actually know. It could be hidden somewhere he didn't scout. But that is actually something that could give a big advantage to DongRaeGu. DongRaeGu is now taking his third base. I'm a little bit curious that LosirA kind of let him take that third, even though he had the advantage. He could have put a little bit more pressure on there. I guess it was because he would made more drones instead of keeping up his forces to apply pressure. But point being here, DongRaeGu actually might just out-tech him. If LosirA doesn't attack soon, then DongRaeGu is going to have infestors. And, oh, never mind, I am completely wrong. Never mind, LosirA does have an infestation pit. DongRaeGu might not have seen it. I certainly didn't see it, and I apologize for that, but pathogen cleanse is almost complete. So, take back everything I said. No tech advantage for DongRaeGu at all. He is going to have the Hydralisk Den. He got a Hydralisk Den, although he may have done that because he suspected a hidden spire or something like that. But anyway, that means that he might be able to throw some Hydras into play. That might be a good thing to do. It's a pretty good thing to throw in a few Hydralisks if you already have the Den. If it's just Roach versus Roach, even if there's Infestors in play, I don't know. Well, I don't want to say that definitively. I'm not a pro exactly, so I can't talk about the pros and cons of that exactly. But personally, I like to throw them in because they do so much DPS. I know that definitely Hydras and Roaches beat just pure Roaches because the Hydras can stand in the back and just do massive amounts of damage. As to whether or not a Infestor is more valuable than a couple Hydras is something that's I'm not exactly sure of. Anyway, we do have some upgrades going on, continuing for both players. DongRaeGu, I think they're both at +2 weapons right now. DongRaeGu is now upgrading +2 armor as well. I'm going to try and see if I can get a hold of LosirA's upgrades if we see one of his units at some point. And there are the Infestors. They are out now for both players. There are, I think, like 10 Infestors for LosirA, rather. That is a ton of Infestors, and here comes a single Infestor just running around. I don't know what that was about. That was a little silly, actually. I don't know what that Infestor was doing, but here's some sharking Infestors coming up to the left side base of DongRaeGu. They are burrowed there, and they're probably going to cast a bunch of infested Terrans, and that base is hosed. All the drones are going to die, and the hatcheries are probably going to die as well. In the meantime, DongRaeGu is trying to defend his 4th base. LosirA's 5th is getting taken out by infested Terrans. Is it going to go down? Yes, it is. And so now DongRaeGu might have an advantage if he can defend his 4th here. Huge fungals going off for both players. Another big fungal for DongRaeGu, but DongRaeGu has all the infestors, and LosirA has all the infestors, and DongRaeGu has almost no infestors. He's just got the one. It is out of energy, so those infestors are going to make the difference. He can't send them in battle to die, though. One does die. Had some energy left on it. He's got a few more infestors behind that. Why is he not using their energy? At least cast down some infested Terrans, and the reason why is because he has so many Roaches. It doesn't make a bit of difference, guys. He is going to roll over DongRaeGu's army. completely and utterly, and is going to take out that army. And some nice baneling hits on those roaches, but it's just too much. DongRaeGu fighting for dear life, hoping to rally his forces forward here to do some damage to hold off this attack. The infested Terrans are now out, going on the attack. He pulls his drones away. He's trying to soak up damage with the hatcheries, but DongRaeGu is on the ropes here. LosirA is on the verge of victory. DongRaeGu has barely any army left. He's forced to fight with drones as well. We're probably going to see GG any second here. Looking at the infestors that might have been able to do some damage, popping as soon as they spawn in. GG coming from DongRaeGu. LosirA ties up the series. And remember, this is a best-of-7 series. The first player to win 4 games will win the series and the entire tournament. We're going to come back in about 30 seconds with game number 3.